you can do everything from a smartphone. And that's my philosophy for most startups. They don't need to have money to really get started.
Hey guys, welcome to the UpNext podcast, where we are interviewing teen entrepreneurs that are making it big time in the startup world. We are asking the questions we know you want to hear. UpNext is an app made for teens where anyone can join or build a real life startup. Okay, so our guest today is Alan Armstrong, age 33, from Germany. He is the founder of the Strong Startup, which is a platform that supports early stage entrepreneurs with the tools they need to get their startup off the ground, which includes coaching and specialized funding, accelerator opportunities in Europe, and educational videos and podcasts, as well as a venture architect and project manager at Xpreneurs, which supports early stage startup teams with high-tech business ideas that are on their way to the market, which is right down our alley. Alan, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything. We are releasing a free startup toolkit, which will be available on our website. So that's our first gift for your community, which will be really, really cool to mention.
Yeah, it sounds great. And I'm sure that they would love to take advantage of the opportunity. So how did you find yourself creating content? How did this all begin?
Yeah, so basically 1 year ago, I started my dream job at Unternehmertum. This is Europe's largest entrepreneurship center. And I found that, so I work with startups in my day job, and I had so much amazing content and information and programs that was just crossing my screen every single day that I didn't know about when I first saw it. And I knew that other people also didn't know about it. And I thought it was terrible that we didn't have enough kind of reach or impact. So I decided to create a YouTube channel. That's how it all began, to be able to give all of this content that comes across my desk to other people and to have as much impact as possible. That's kind of how I got started.
Wow, that sounds great. And you've just been, going on from there. It seems like you are on a great journey. Did you have any kind of mentor throughout this process? Someone that, helped you with the first steps?
Yeah, I did. And I would say that the mentors are a really, really important part of starting your journey. So my first mentor was Dr. Carl Thomas. He's the founder and CEO of Creativation. It's a company in Ireland, in Dublin, that does innovation, critical thinking, and creativity workshops at a lot of different levels. So in companies, but also with startups. And Carl essentially is where I want to be in the next 2 to 3 years. He's owning this company on his own. He's working for himself. He just does workshops and consultations with really interesting companies on amazing topics on a day-by-day basis. And he helped me kind of just to reframe my thinking. So he helped me to shorten my timeline to make sure that I could really do more, because I thought this was going to be a 5 to 10 year timeline. And Carl was like, no, you can do this in like 2 years and you can start getting paid this year. And that was an amazing focus opportunity for me to focus on revenue and focus on delivering impact as quickly as possible.
Yeah, if there's something that I've learned throughout working at a startup is to keep things short and sweet, because people don't always have the time or the patience to listen to the whole story.
Exactly.
So how much time did it take for you to build your personal brand? Do you feel like you're still building?
I think it'll never stop, if I can be very honest with you. It took me a good year to get comfortable and to find the right platform. I started on YouTube, did a video a week for a while. And then in November, after hitting a bit of a slump, I decided to kick things off with a YouTube or a TikTok challenge where I did a daily TikTok for every day. And I haven't stopped since. So it's been about 130, 140 days, new content every day. And that helped me to find my rhythm. But it'll never stop building my personal brand. I guess until the first real product came out, I consider my content to be one part of the product, but the first real product that we have on our website, which is the toolkit that we're launching for free, that's coming out now. That was built originally just because I had so much resources available and I wanted to keep track of them. But it probably took us about a year to really get that on our website and available for potential entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Wow. And did you invest any money in this brand at first, or was it more of like a hobby type thing and slowly things, we saw them come out?
Yeah, it started really just as a hobby. It started as I want to create a YouTube channel. I want to make video content because YouTube is the second largest platform in the world. If you're not making videos, you're just not being seen. But I would say that I'm very against investing money in things. So I started with my camera on my iPhone. I maybe bought a 10 euro little lavalier mic. Since the last year, bit by bit, I've bought like a light box. I have a nice microphone, but that's because I live on Zoom for my job as well. But I'm very against investing money, even myself, in it unless it's absolutely necessary. You can do everything from a smartphone, and that's my philosophy for most startups. They don't need to have money to really get started, which is a really great thing.
Yeah, I think that is really important, and I will get back to that question later. I'm waiting for your creative answer. So
Perfect.
You put a bunch of content on YouTube. Would you say that that's how you got these first users, followers, or was there also some kind of advertisement to go with it?
Nope, absolutely no advertisement. Everything was content marketing. Everything that accelerated my growth was TikTok. I have now 37,000 followers. There's a huge transfer to my website. There's a huge transfer to subscribers on YouTube from that. There's a really nice flow of community there. My first community, of course, was definitely on YouTube, but I only had about 100, maybe close to 200 followers or subscribers within the first year. But those people are very important to me. They're my early adopters. They're the first people that bothered to click the subscribe button. So I'll be eternally grateful to all of them, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they are just as grateful that they subscribed. So what's, with all the knowledge that you've gotten, through your work, through the content that you create, what's one mistake that you would avoid?
The biggest mistake and the hardest thing to do is waiting to get started. So I thought about this for about probably over a month before I made the first video. By the way, the first video took me about, I think, 3 hours, and I made like 20 takes, and they were all terrible. That was the biggest thing for me is just going from zero, having an idea, to actually putting some content out there, taking that risk. What I like to frame this in is the concept from Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. I've also heard it from Lynn Kaiser, who's a famous entrepreneur here in Munich, CEO of Hyperganic. And they talk about take your vision and double it, triple it, 10x it, because humans have a very big problem of not having this, vision. They limit themselves with their own thinking. They think, oh, I want to be the best entrepreneur in Munich or in Germany. And to really make a difference, to really be innovative, you need to think the sky is the absolute limit. So that's my number one thing, that I started very, very small with my thinking, and it's grown over time. But taking action is the biggest mistake that I would have avoided originally, taking action earlier and then doubling or tripling my vision as much as possible.
Yeah, very true. So we have that starting point that we need to jump that obstacle to get to like an actual creation. And then from there, how would one start making money off of creating content?
Good point. I think what you need to do in the very beginning is to really dedicate yourself to the community. So to offer value to a community in some form, whatever that is, whether it's entertainment or education. I focus mostly on education. And only now, after having a significant following, do I have an opportunity to be on the TikTok Creator Fund, to have other people be interested now to maybe sponsor some videos from my side or resources that I can provide as a form of payment. And that's kind of the easiest way. You have to kind of have the following in order to be able to have the visibility that other people think, hey, I want to work with this teen entrepreneur, or I want to work with Alan because he seems to know what he's doing and he has a community which has value for me as an accelerator, a VC, or whatever. Being consistent is the easiest way to grow on these channels. YouTube, I still think, is better for potential market opportunities to get paid because of the fact that when you reach 1,000 subscribers, you have a lot more traffic and potential monetization.
Okay, great. Duly noted.
So what is one advantage and disadvantage that you can tell me of being a content creator? What should I be looking out for?
Yeah.
I think there's only really advantages because of the fact that, first of all, it's free. You don't need anything whatsoever other than a smartphone and an internet connection to begin to make content. So I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk's philosophy in this sense. But in terms of like using content to be able to create a potential company, gaining and starting as early as possible is only going to be an advantage for you in terms of being a teenager and wanting to experiment, because experience is the number one thing. You can't learn really about making content or entrepreneurship from a book. Great to have entrepreneurship and to have inspiration, from those books around entrepreneurship, but you can't really learn it from a book. You have to do it. And the earlier you can do that, that will be the better. In terms of a disadvantage, it's only going to be a disadvantage if you let it be a disadvantage, which is the perspective of other people looking at you as a young person who's naive, silly, and has this crazy vision that's never going to work. Those type of people don't make the difference in the world. They don't make the big impact. They're not the Elon Musks or the Jeff Bezoses of the world. Those people think differently. They think big. And this is the only potential disadvantage, that there's a little bit of judgment from other people that you're not going to make it. But all you need is patience and hard work. Ignore those people, and I think you'll definitely succeed.
Yeah, I'm sure that judgment is also for a short amount of time until you prove everyone wrong. So
yeah.
Next question.
Just to say very quickly, sorry, that actually happened to me as well. Even at 33 years of age, people are like, Alan, come on, what are you doing here? Like, I mean, you're not an expert in this area. Why are you making content? So happens all the time.
So here we are, not being experts. So next question might be a bit of an obvious answer, but I'm sure that you'll surprise me in
some way. So what tech tool can you not go without nowadays?
Yeah, I went super basic for this one, to be honest. Everything about my
life, in terms of how I manage my day-to-day life, my personal life, is just done through my calendar. It's a super simple one, but I control it, number one, so I can dictate when I actually have time for meetings or whatever the case may be. And secondly, I block time for when I have to get work done. So for this meeting and to prepare for this, I blocked time in my schedule that no one else can book, that Alan just has time with Alan to focus on what's really important. So if you understand your priorities, your calendar is your friend, and then it can guide you throughout your successful career. Apart from that, just as a joke, the Strong Startup free toolkit, that would be my other potential tool that I would say. But beyond that, maybe Calendly, it has supported me a lot to be able to book meetings and to not spend so much time going back and forth, to be able to connect with startups and find a suitable time. So Calendar and Calendly will be my two tools that I recommend.
Yeah, there have been so many organization platforms, coming out.
Yeah. There's so many different ways to be organized, but if you don't pick one, it starts getting a little messy. I love all the Post-its in the background there. That also
that's actually my 100-day
TikTok challenge. So I stopped recording it now, but you can see them all over here. Yep. But and then a few little inspirational sticky notes for ideas. Very important.
Yeah, very creative. I like it.
Yeah.
So which entrepreneurs or content creators inspire you the most these days?
Yeah,
easily content creator. The biggest influence for me is Gary Vaynerchuk. I read his books, or one of his books, and I also follow his philosophy. I try to implement his inverted pyramid content marketing plan, which is